channel later on. So welcome to 2021 Employee Learning Week. We are grateful for all of our ATD Nebraska members. My name is Debbie Petru, and I am the Director of Professional Development with ATD Nebraska. And we are super excited to have with us today Lauren Schirach. She is with ATD National, and she will be joining us today to really help us better understand what the national membership benefits are and how we can just really maximize our use of it. She is the main member engagement manager for ATD, and she brings over 7 years of experience in association membership management to this role. She's very passionate about solving problems, connecting members to their benefits and each other, and making sure that the organization is meeting member needs. And she's been a joy to work with. I know this was kind of last minute for her to join, but she does this pretty frequently. So I am excited to hear what she has to share with us. And I will share her email address in the chat as well. So you can feel free to stay connected with her after the session today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let her share her screen and take it away, Lauren.
Great. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Debbie, and hello everyone. It's nice to meet you, whether you're on screen or off screen enjoying lunch. Just thank you so much for taking the time to hop on board here. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. So let me get my screen shared. Here we go. Yes. Sorry, you'd think at this point I'd be extremely fluent in every single way that all of the video platforms work, but sometimes it's hard to remember. Before we actually really get going here though, I wanted to do a quick poll just so I know kind of who we have in the room, either via a raise of hands or just a thumbs up in the chat. I would appreciate it if you could let me know first off, who here is a power member? So someone who's a member both of the Nebraska chapter, of course, and national. Okay, fabulous. Love to see that. All right, and then for those of you that are chapter members for ATD Nebraska, and of course that includes the power members, but if you're just a power or just a chapter member and not a national one, okay. And then anybody here who is actually neither a chapter member or a national member and is curious about membership in general? Great. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm very happy to show you what ATD National has to offer, but I'm sure that the folks at the local chapter will be in contact with you as well for all your membership opportunities with them. And clearly a lot of really great content that the Nebraska chapter puts out for learning opportunities. So highly recommend giving them a look. So as I get started here, what we're going to be talking about today is I'm going to do a brief overview of the national membership for those who are not familiar. And then we're really going to talk about the various benefits. We've done a very large website and benefit overhaul this last year. So for those of you that are longer term members, it's going to be kind of acquainting you, hopefully, with all of the new things on the site, where to find everything on the site, how to access everything. So including all the new search functionality and navigation, finding the things that you really want, what the new My ATD dashboard is, and the Benefits Center. If you have two screens and want to follow along with me on the website, I certainly encourage it. Always helps to kind of do that follow along learning to cement it in the brain. And I'll also say, please feel free to jump in at any time with questions over audio or in the chat. Debbie has very graciously agreed to help me monitor the chat, just because sometimes that gets a little challenging when you're doing the presenting, as I'm sure most of you know. So with that, I will ask first, are there any questions before we start? Not seeing anything yet. So if you're typing, I will watch for any of those in the chat, but otherwise we'll get off to the races. So as far as ATD national membership goes, there are two primary options, being the ATD professional member that you will see over here on the left, and the ATD Professional Plus membership you'll see over here on the right. Both memberships have almost completely identical benefit options. However, the Professional Plus Membership always also grants you access to a micro course library of 99 micro courses, which I'll show you a little more about later on, but wanted to give a quick overview of what the membership options for you are. You'll note that right now they're a bit discounted. We're having some cyber sales, just like every other place on the internet. But to look a little more closely at what those benefits of membership are, here's a quick wheel. This gives you an overview of what those things are. So as a quick disclaimer as well, prior to March of this year, the ATD benefit model was something based on something that some of you are familiar with called claimables, where in a given year you had a certain number of things you could claim as benefits to your membership. So a certain number of accesses to TD at Work guides, or the tools and templates, or some of the publications. As of March of this year, we have opened that up fully. So there is no longer any kind of restriction on the number of these things that you can access in a given year. We really wanted to make sure that our members were getting the most out of their membership, and realized that sometimes in a given year, people were not remembering to access or claim all of the things that they had access to. So now that's fully open. So unlimited access to those TD at Work guides. Of course, the State of the Industry report for 2021 is coming out very shortly, and those are all member benefits. The TD magazine and all the archives, all kinds of member newsletters, a lot of great case studies and white papers, and then webinars and conference sessions recordings, and all kinds of different things. But we are going to dig into those a little more fully as we go through the rest of the benefits on the site. But I wanted to give you a quick overview. So if you are thinking about membership, feel free to reference these pages at any time. And I know that Debbie dropped my information in the chat. Please feel free to email me with any further questions that you might have after we get done with this. So to start off, the most important thing being on the site, especially if you do have an active membership, is that you are signed in. If I was not signed in here, you would see the option to sign in naturally. I will say that you do not have to be a member in order to create a login for the site, which does give you access to a couple of other things that people who are not logged in do. But for members who are logged in, that allows you access to any of the benefits that you see along the site. So it's important as you're navigating that you do make sure you're signed in already, so that when you click on a white paper or something else you might be interested in, you don't think that you don't have access to it. You do, you just have to be signed in to do that. So that's up here. This whole top bar will move with you, so you'll always be able to see your information in the My ATD link. But moving on from there, so like I mentioned, in the past year, we've done a lot of redesigning of the website and the whole information infrastructure to make it better and easier and hopefully more intuitive for everyone to access what it is they're looking for. Because as I'm sure many of you know, there's a lot of information on this website. There's so much content in here, and it can be very helpful, but we wanted to make it easier and less siloed so that people could access that more quickly. So, and also, if you are all familiar at all with the capability model, really to realign a lot of how our content works to be in line with that capability model. So, two main ways of accessing things on the website. Of course, you have the front page, which, as with most front pages, just gives you quick updates of the latest and greatest in whatever it is that we have going on at the moment. So, of course, articles, blog posts, upcoming certifications, and the like. But the two main ways to access the site and the information therein is this Explore button here and the search functionality over here. So I like to tell people that if you are coming onto the site with a just a curiosity, a hankering for some knowledge, and you just want to look around, naturally the Explore button is a great place to start. So when you click on that, it's going to drop down this little menu option here, which has content over on the right. So this will always be in the same order. Courses will be first. These first three, actually, courses, certifications, and conferences, are all kind of ATD product options, if you will. So courses, naturally, will give you access to all of the links to pages on the master programs, all of the certificate programs. Excuse me. etc. On the right, you will see some of the popular course topics, and these are populated by what users across the site are frequently accessing and searching for. A couple of quick links, and then if you know that you really want to do a face-to-face course or a live online course, or even just an asynchronous on-demand video, you can filter really easily right from here, just so you don't have to spend more time than you might want to trying to figure out if a particular course or how a particular course is being delivered. Moving on from there, certifications. If you are interested in CPTD or APTD, you can access information from them there. And if you are already in the process of pursuing one of those certifications, you can very easily get to your certification portal and the certification prep areas right here. Conferences is pretty self-explanatory. We have a variety of conferences throughout the year. So US conferences, if you click on that, will give you all of the different ones for the upcoming, well, into as far into the future as we can see. And then global events, same deal. If you're interested in speaking at a conference or more information on who to talk to about various parts of the conferences, you can find those under the quick links. And then of course on the right here, it just gives you an overview of the most soon to come conference opportunities. So in February is the ATD Tech Knowledge Conference, which will be fully virtual. And then the ATD 2022 International Conference will be May 15th through 18th in Orlando, Florida, though there will also be virtual components for this year as well. But I hope that we see many of you there. I would love to meet a lot of you face to face. Moving on from there, though, these next three menu options of read, watch and listen, and topics, instead of being focused on things like the top three were, are really how you want to interact with content. So if you know you want to dig into a good book or an article or huge research paper, if that's what moves you, then coming to the read area here will help you narrow down those areas of content. So you can easily access all of the books, which as a member you have discounts to, magazine, as in the TD magazine articles and archives, and the whole research section for ATD. Easy access to all the blog posts. And as you can see here, just again, those popular topics pop back up, and some other quick links to the State of the Industry report as well, which I mentioned is just on the horizon. The little banner to the right that I'm sure you've seen in a few of these changes frequently, but we do like to let you know when you have even further sales options. So right now that is showing the information on our cyber sale. Moving down a little further, if you're not in the mood to read something, but you want to kind of absorb some information, we have in the watch and listen area podcasts, videos, upcoming webinars, and past webinars. So as a member, you have access to the whole archive of our past webinars. And I'm not joking when I say that ATD National does about a webinar a day. So the range of topics and really expert information included in some of those past webinars is pretty astounding and very cool. But say, you see in an upcoming webinar something that you'd like to attend, but know that you have a scheduling conflict for, if you go ahead and either note it or register for it, you'll be able to access that webinar recording later on down the line. In a slightly similar strain, videos, ATD has produced a lot of informational videos just for members in general, but the videos area also includes a lot of recorded conference sessions. Not every single conference and not every single session will be recorded, but we do our best to really record as much content at conferences as possible so that members can also access those if they could not make it. All right, and then the final menu option. Oh, was there a question there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure how long ago Shelly posted this because I was getting into the website myself, but she mentioned about ebooks and how that used to be a member benefit to download for free. Is that still one of the member benefits, or if so, or is that no longer?
Yeah, Shelly, I think I might have to ask for a little clarification. As far as the types of ebooks you're referencing, I know that some of the books still do have the ability for members to access them, but I'm not sure which ebooks in particular you might be referencing. I'm sorry to not answer that particularly concisely.
So I am a longtime member. So I remember when you used to be able to claim
Yes.
certain things. And so there used to be books, for example, you could claim up to 3 ebooks a year or something like that, along with the TD at work and those kinds of things.
Okay. I will have to double check and see. I know that with us making all of the TD at work guides and the tools and templates fully available, I am not sure if the other side of that was that the ebooks are no longer possible for members to download. But I also do think that there are some that are. So if it's all right with you, I will look into that as soon as we're off here. And then I'm going to send a follow-up email to Debbie to pass on to everyone with a few general links, but then whatever questions like this come up, I can look at those and send an answer to you.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. No, I just noticed that, now it shows pricing for these items. And there used to be with a lot of these books where you could just download those for free. It was part of that plus membership.
Okay.
But it was something you had to claim. Like I said, it was back in the day where you had to claim items and you could have up to so many a year.
Here's one thing that I just realized as I was looking at the books area here. So for those of you, I might have moved a little quickly. From the read area, I clicked on books in order to access the full list of books in ATD's kind of book library. And anytime you do a search, you'll see kind of a similar filtering ability on the left-hand side here. And one of the filters that you can apply is member benefit, which means that it is accessible for free. Well, it is included in your membership as a member benefit. So when I filter by member benefit, I do see that it looks like there are 5 books that I can access. And you'll see right here underneath each one of these that qualify, it says member benefit. So Shelley, for now, what I can say is that these 5 at least are available. And then I will check on whether or not there are further ones that are available or what our plan with that is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions while we've got some floor space open? We good? Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Shelley. I appreciate that. Let's see. So we were on watch and listen. So moving down from there is topics. So these are 28 topics that align with the TD capability model, which we'll get into a little bit later. But these are kind of the comprehensive, as we've been able to determine at this point, topics that TD professionals most often need to be fluent in. And so if you come to the website knowing that there's a particular area of information you're looking for topic-wise, this is an easy place to take you to a landing page that will show you all kinds of different types of content related to these things. So, for example, one thing that we have realized during the TD capability model rollout is that members, and I'll include myself in this, frequently rate themselves in their skill ability on the lower end when it comes to data and analytics. So if you find yourself in that category, but are wanting to increase your knowledge or even just have a place to start with understanding how to apply data analysis to your work, you can always come to this topic area, hop in there, and hopefully find some good information to start you off. So you can see all of these different topics there and easily access those landing pages. But that is if you are feeling like you're just kind of in that explore mode, right? You're just looking for some information to kind of bolster generally a topic area you're interested in. But say you come to the site and you do know that you are in the market for a very specific thing and you want it fast. So of course, that's where the search functionality comes in handy. And now I know it's the year 2021 and we're all very familiar with Google and everything else, but I will say that this search functionality is a little bit different. So I do want to spend a little time making sure everyone sees how it works. And you'll see why in just a minute. So when I hit the search button, it drops down this little search bar here, pretty familiar to all of us, and you'll see recent searches. So I've searched coaching before, and then suggested searches, which these again are kind of suggested by what everyone who uses the site has been searching recently. The featured today just shows a couple of quick articles or blogs or recent good pieces of information that we identify, so those change. But I'm going to use the coaching example again, if that's all right. So as I start to type in here, you'll see I've only put in one letter and it is already trying to return some results for me, which is great. But as I continue, this content continues to change. So the thing to know about all of these results is you'll have products that show up on this left-hand side, being courses, publications, and conferences. And then on the right-hand side, you have content. So these are some blog posts, articles, maybe webinars, maybe videos would show up in here depending on what you have searched. You'll also see that underneath the search bar, some suggested things have popped up. So in order to narrow your search even further, it's giving you some more options that might help you narrow the information down. Going back to the results a little bit, you'll see you can click into further results on the courses, publications, and conferences area. But I'll be honest, it's probably likely that when you start typing this in here, these might not be the things that you're looking for immediately. So you'll notice that I haven't hit the full search button yet. This is really just a preliminary screen that the site is trying to show you, hey, this might be what you're looking for. But if you want to dive in further, of course, we'll go ahead and click that search button. Now you'll remember I searched for coaching. And like I said before, there's a lot of information on the website. So you probably don't want to sift through 7,549 different pieces of content in order to find what you're looking for. Just a hunch. Don't worry, that is very possible. As you scroll down on the page, you'll see again that the information is bucketed into different content types. So we've got courses here, conferences, performance resources, which include those tools and templates that I've referenced, as well as all of the TD at Work guides. And as I said, all of those are accessible as full member benefits now. So you have access to every single one of those all the time, anytime, whenever you want. So the tools and templates in particular are, of course, pretty helpful because they are things that you can essentially plug and play, be it these types of coaching plans or checklists, or just there's a whole variety of things that we have developed in response to hearing what types of needs members have for their day-to-day to hopefully make everyone's life a little easier. Moving on down from there, we have webinars, publications, including white papers, which are a member benefit, a whole lot of articles, videos, podcasts, blogs, etc. So as I mentioned, in order to filter through these, which I'm sure you'll want to do, you have a few options. One on the left is you can just click into any one of those particular categories of content. Or as you're scrolling down, there are more filters in terms of looking at things by role or by topic or by industry, if that is helpful to you. But say we know that we're looking for some kind of tool to make our life a little easier in the area of coaching. So we'll go ahead and click into the performance resources section. So from here, this has narrowed it down to 40, which is of course a much more manageable chunk than the 7,000 odd pieces of content that at first returned to us. So we can scroll down through here and look at the various guides and templates that are available. And say, as we read through, we went, this is what I'm looking for. Great, some effective sales coaching questions. As you click into that, come on, here we go. You'll see that there's a quick overview of what the content is, and then you can immediately download these effective sales coaching questions. I'll note as well that many of our tools and templates are translated into Spanish. So if that is helpful to you, there are 90 plus of them that are translated. I believe we have plans to continue to translate more of them, but for now, those are available. And I wanted to take you all into this page, not just to show you that you can immediately download these, but that there is a bookmark button here on almost every single type of content. And I mention that because if you click it, that becomes something that we can easily find later on in my ATD, which we'll go through next. That's really helpful because you saw, it can sometimes be a bit of a process to access pieces of content. So if you know that you like something and you want to save it for later and make it really easy to access, go ahead and click that button. It can be a little nondescript sometimes and easy to run your eyes over, but if you remember that the bookmark button is there, it's very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and go back. And we are back on our performance resources coaching screen. I'll mention that if you click into a particular category and realize, no, that's not quite what I was looking for, you can go back to all categories very easily here. And as I mentioned before, this filter bar on the left will show up on just about every search that you perform, so you can easily filter through things. All right, let me see if I missed anything in my notes. I don't think so at the moment. So just to recap on those two there then, the Explore and the search functionality are probably your two best friends when it comes to jumping into the site and finding what you're looking for. Next, I'm going to hop into the My ATD area, but I will stop for a second because sometimes I have a tendency to run really quickly through things. So are there any questions that have come up? Cool. Okay. Next up then, so the My ATD button, which you see up here, is something you'll see whenever you're logged into the site. And this was a big part of the website redesign that was intended to bring all kinds of member information into one area. Formerly on the site, as I'm sure some of you remember, if you were looking for webinars that you've attended, you had to look over here. If you wanted to look at different certifications or courses that you've attended, you had to look over here. This was intended to pull all of that together into one place, so you don't have to click 32 times to access the 5 different things you're looking for. Hopefully it cuts that down quite a bit. So when you click into My ATD, it's going to land you on this dashboard, and you'll see we have a dashboard tab, a My Activity tab, and the Benefits Center tab. We're going to go through all of these, but we'll start with the dashboard widgets just to acquaint you with them. Right here, of course, is your just basic information. I thought I had updated mine to have my title and everything appear, but I must have done that incorrectly, so my bad. I will do that right after this. But if you click edit, that is where you'll be able to edit that bio information and all kinds of whatever you would like to have display for other people. In here as well, you can access your communication preferences, which I know everyone always likes to do because I'll admit it, we send out a lot of emails. Next up though, you have access here to the TD capability model, which I know I've mentioned a couple times. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the capability model, I will click in here just for a second. The capability model is a well, like it says here, it's a blueprint for impact. This is really a competency model that we have developed for the industry at large in 3 different areas, both in personal capability, in professional capability, and in organizational capability across the TD industry. So what you do when you go in here is for each of these 3 areas, you rank yourself, you rank your ability based on a set of skills questions asking you how comfortable you feel in particular areas of work at those levels of personal, professional, and organizational. And once you have gone through that self-assessment, you are then able to create a learning plan to help perhaps bridge skill gaps or to just increase your knowledge in particular areas. And some of those things that are in those learning plans, which can be on tracks that are already set by ATD, or things that you create yourself, just a big bunch of content that you feel would be most useful. You can access those through quick clicks on the site. I'll show you real quick here. My learning plan. I have a bunch of different articles, performance resources, even publications and books that can help me in those different areas that I identified as needing the most upskilling in. So I know it's a lot to go through. In the email that I send to Debbie as a follow-up to pass on to all of you, I'll include a link to a video that talks a bit more in depth about the capability model and all of the power that it has. But I will say that members frequently ask us, oh, what's the most professional development focused thing that I can do kind of on my own time and at my own pace to get the most out of it and the most out of my membership. And we always tell them that the capability model is a great place to start because it is all of those things. It's a huge professional development opportunity. So if you haven't checked it out yet, maybe after this call, hop on there and take a look. So moving on, my membership, this little widget just shows you your membership information. Pretty easy. The My Topics area. When you access this, you likely won't have anything in here unless you've already done it before, which if you have, you're great. This allows you to select the different topics that are nearest and dearest to your heart. And those again are those 28 topics that kind of all of our content is focused into at this point. And what this does is allows for some more personalization on the website. So when you have things that are suggested for you as far as content goes, it'll look at these topics that are of interest to you in order to deliver you hopefully the most relevant things. Because obviously with as wide ranging as the industry is, and with as much content is on the site as we've seen, it's really helpful to have it tailor things to you a little bit. So you can follow as many as you like, but it is helpful to follow at least a few so that you can start seeing things that are useful to you. From there, My Learning. This shows you the most recent learning focused things that you have participated in. I know that was vague, but it includes everything from those micro courses I referenced earlier to webinars to actual certificates. You can see the one that I just did last week there. And you also have access to the My Activity area, which you might remember is a tab up along the top of My ATD here. And we'll get into that a little more in a second. Network activity. So every member or every person on the site that has a profile is able to be followed. So if you have particular, people in your own network that you would like to network with on the site, or particular authors or writers that you like to follow, you're able to do that. If you come onto the site and you go, I haven't followed anybody, why are people showing up in here? There are some automatic follows that ATD automatically assigns when you create an account. So for example, these are some authors for our articles and blogs that are automatically followed. My Sites and Resources, this is another one that will probably look a little bit different for you. I have staff access, and so yours will likely only show the 10-minute case studies, but it's just a quick link to some other resources for you. Featured today, again, that's what we saw when we hit search, just a couple of suggested pieces of content. And then scrolling down a little bit more in the recommended for you, this is actually where those topics that we saw right up here immediately come into play. If you're looking for, just a jumping off point or to be a little inspired, perhaps, you could scroll down to the recommended for you and see that in the instructional design topic, there are some articles, some books, and some blogs, videos recommended for me, and same for training, delivery, and facilitation. So that is the dashboard area, which again is intended to bundle a bunch of things together so you can quickly, easily access it. Now, the My Activity tab is next. And as I mentioned, you can get there from the top or from this My Learning area. And when you click in here, you'll see kind of a history of all of the different things that you have accessed. So I have some micro courses that unfortunately I haven't completed that yet. Shame on me, but it will show you if you have gone through a variety of courses or training programs with ATD, you can access all of those here, as well as the certificate itself. And for most courses or certificates, you have access to the materials for a period of time after the certificate course has ended, and you can access those there. Moving down, certification section here is focused on APTD and CPTD. And then conferences, I am not registered for any upcoming conferences, but soon ATD 2022 will show up on there. But if you know you're registered for one and want to quickly hop to the agenda or other information, it'll be right there for you. And also webinars, your history of webinars lives here. So like I said earlier, if you sign up for a webinar and then a scheduling conflict came up and you went, darn, I really wanted to watch that, you can come to your My Activity area and scroll down here to easily, via these little 3 dots on the right-hand side, hop to the recording of that webinar. I'm not logged in on here, so it doesn't immediately show for me, but if you do log in, it will show you the video. You can immediately access that webinar. Coming back up, here is where that bookmarks function that I showed you on that tools and templates piece earlier comes back into play. If you're in My Activity and you go to your bookmarks, it will load. There it goes. It will load and show you all of those things that you have bookmarked. So obviously I've got a few of these because I think I bookmark a different one every time and forget to go clear them out. But anything that you bookmark, be it things like the State of the Industry report, templates and tools, articles, etc., they will all be saved here historically. If you want to go unbookmark something, you would have to click back into it and then click the unbookmark button. But it saves it all there for you. All right, network activity is the same as that widget on the dashboard area. And then contributions, if you are interested in writing a blog post or starting a discussion, you can do that from this area. And let me check the chat real quick.
Hey, Lauren, I've got a question. This is Carol. I've got a question on the bookmarking.
Sure.
Is there a retention strategy for that? So let's say I bookmark something. I'm going to get back. I'm going to read that and months go by. Does it disappear or does it stay there?
No, it stays there until you unclick, or well, let's go ahead and click back into here. It will stay there until you come click this unbookmark button.
Okay. Do you have articles that ever like disappear and so then they wouldn't bookmark anymore? Or, I mean, do you, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think we've ever gotten rid of a single piece of content on this website.
Well, all right then.
Based on the search that we did and having about 2,500 articles come up related to coaching, unless there's a particular content reason why we would remove it, I do not believe that we archive or remove anything like that. We really want it to be accessible in the long term. Yeah, thanks for the question. Are there any others at the moment?
I'm just putting what I like about the membership in there.
Thank you, Debbie. That's lovely.
You're welcome.
All right, well, with that, we will move into the last area that you can access here through the My ATD section, which is the Benefit Center. So this may seem a little redundant, but I promise it's not. As you search through the website or use the Explore function to look at different content, you will get a mix of things that are member benefits and things like Shelley mentioned that maybe books are paid content instead of member benefit content. So the intent with the Benefit Center is to pull everything that is a member benefit into one place. So you'll see all of the publications, videos, performance resources, articles, webinars, and courses that are member benefits that you have immediate access to all in one place. So you don't ever encounter any paid content if you know that's not what you're looking for. So at the top, there's a featured benefit, which will rotate naturally. The November 2021 TV magazine is about 6 days out of date now, so I think we need to go change that. I'm going to make a note. But that rotates based on whatever the current, most recent fun, shiny thing is. As you scroll down, again, you'll see the membership type on the left, that My Sites and Resources widget. And then there are also some additional resources that I'll cover really quickly. If you get done with this training and maybe don't have access to the recording for whatever reason, you can look at this maximizing membership video or look through the PDF member handbook. to give a lot of an overview of what I've covered today. So if you have questions that for whatever reason are not answerable anywhere else at the moment, you can access one of those two things. Another member benefit that we have is the Ebsco Library. So we have partnered with Ebsco to give all members full access to the Ebsco Library, which is full of journal articles, various research and white papers, basically just another huge content library of TD resources that you can access. So when you click on that, it will take you to another website. It is single sign-on, so the sign-in that you use for the ATD website also works there. It will give you full access to their content. If you need a member card, just to prove that you're a member, which I like, you can print that off from here, and then you have access to the full member directory there. So quick overview of that, and now we'll look at the different content areas here. So you're probably pretty familiar with these already because these are similar buckets to the ones that all of the content in the search function showed up as. So, but once again, these are all just member benefits, things that you as a member can access immediately. So, hey, check it out. There's the 2021 State of the Industry Report. Under publications, those show up there. Along with a bunch of different case studies, which are very cool. Naturally, if you're looking for great examples of people doing things really well, you can look at those. You have access to 101 TD magazines. Carol, I will say this is one area where we don't have the whole history of the world included in there. We don't have every single TD magazine from all time in there, but going back a number of years, we do. So if you're looking for something that's much, much older, we'll have to do some digging. And then, like I said, you have access to a number of white papers through your benefits as well. So naturally, ATD Research puts out a lot of very hefty and comprehensive research papers every year. And if you just want to get the executive summary Spark Notes version of that, all the big takeaways, you can look at all of the white papers for those. Moving on to videos. As I mentioned earlier, this includes videos that ATD has produced in hot topic areas for members to look at, like gamification, which is always interesting to people for training, but as well as the conference recordings from a number of our conferences. So you can look in this section to look at those member benefit videos. And as you'll see, it only serves you about 6 to start with. But in the View All button here, it will show you everything, which is probably too much because there are, again, a lot of them. But you can use those filters we talked about earlier, as well as put in search queries here to narrow that down for videos that you might be looking for in particular. All right, going back to the Benefit Center here, we just looked at publications and videos. Looking at performance resources for this next one, there are 346 TD at Work guides. And if you're not familiar with those, this sentence sums it up nicely, that these 20-page guides dive deeply into a crucial talent development topic with actionable tools at the end to use right away. And that is what all of these are. And there are 346 of them, so there's probably one on a topic that you're interested in. I highly recommend diving into those. And as I showed earlier with the bookmarking ability, there are the templates and tools that, again, this sentence sums it up well. Quick, actionable templates and tools to get the job done so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I also did mention that all of these have come out of member requests or members identifying to us where some gaps are that we can fill for them. And if you have an idea after scanning through these, if you don't see something you're looking for, you can use this form that's linked there to tell us what types of things are of importance to you that we can develop. All right, moving on to articles. Once again, there's an overwhelming number of them. So of course, we have a number of different newsletters that members can access. And as I showed in the dashboard area, you can set your preferences for emails that gives you access to selecting which newsletters you'd like to receive. But if you remember you received a newsletter article a while ago that was interesting and want to search for it, you can do that here. And this also contains all of the TD magazine articles. So I know in the publications area, we have access to the TD magazines here. And this section is if you want to read the magazine cover to cover, just look at the whole kit and caboodle all at once. The articles area, where it shows all of these TD magazine articles, are each piece of TD magazine separated out into a different article. So just to draw the clarification there a little bit. Moving forward into webinars, as I mentioned, there are over 500 webinar recordings that you can access. And yep, you can search through those just in the same way as the others. And then finally, we get to courses. And I know I promised at the beginning that I would talk about the 99 adaptive micro courses that are a part of the Professional Plus membership. And this is where you can, well, there are a few different ways to access it, but coming at it from the Benefit Center area is always easy. I will show you this really quick as a quick demo. So these courses, as I said, there are 99 micro courses on a number of different, just areas of topic areas that are consistently things that all of our members want to know about. And so each one of these, typically about 20 minutes long, sometimes a bit longer, all videos and interactive elements to kind of upskill you, close skill gaps in these areas. And as I mentioned, I use the word these are adaptive. So they help narrow in on where you currently sit skill-wise in these, and they adapt to that so that you don't see content that you are clearly already familiar with, and it really optimizes to your level of learning. And like I said, those are accessible in the Professional Plus membership. But I will say that for the regular professional membership, that has access to everything else that we've covered. All of these publications, videos, performance resources, articles, webinars, all of those are accessible in the professional membership. The courses, the 99 micro courses, are the only things that are gated off to you in that area. So that is most of what I had planned to show you guys today. As a couple of final remarks, suggestions, I'll say it's really helpful to bookmark either your dashboard or maybe the Benefit Center, depending on what you access most, just to have quick, easy access to that. So on your browser of choice, just go ahead and bookmark those. Use the website logged in. Email us anytime you have questions. We are here for you. Yeah, that's most of what I had. So I know we have a few minutes left, 12 to be exact. So floor is open for any questions that you might have.
Hey, Lauren, I've got a question. This is Carol again.
Sure, Carol.
Is ATD National ever going to consider perhaps offering the library on a per course subscription basis? You know, if there's like one course you want to take, you don't want to sign up for all 99, but there's one that you can take for 25 bucks as an I'm just throwing that out there. They ever think about that?
Okay, so I think you're asking, so if you're a professional member and you don't want to upgrade to the full Professional Plus membership, but one of these particular courses would be interesting to you, you might want to get those on kind of a pay to play individual basis. Interesting. I haven't heard that conversation being had internally, but I also think that's a gap of we don't know what we don't know. So that's, I will take that back as something that people, you know, if you're interested in it, I bet there are others that might be. So I'll bring that back. Thank you for the suggestion.
Thanks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. And let me check the chat here now that I've jotted that down to see if there is anything else. And again, thank you so much, Debbie, for calling out the things that you enjoy in there. That's great.
Yeah, and I still learned a lot I didn't know we had, so it was
good
helpful for me. So yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, and I hope that's the case for everyone. Like I said, the membership access, or the access you have to all of this content through membership can be really valuable. I know it takes some time to look at those things, but really especially those tools and templates and TD at Work guides that have things that you can just plug right into your day-to-day to hopefully save you some time in the long run and not have to to search around or create something brand new are really helpful. So I definitely recommend, if you find yourself in that spot of, oh, I wish I had, X thing already created for this, search those areas. You might find just what you're looking for. All right. Well, if nobody else has any other questions, I can give you some time back in your lunch hour, so you can hopefully go enjoy some other things. Let's see.
Yeah, Lauren, we really appreciate your time. I know some folks may be registered tomorrow. We will have Morgan Hurt, also from ATD National. She's going to dive in a little deeper with us on the capability model that Lauren mentioned.
Oh, good.
Today. Yep. So for anyone that's wondering, the assessment you can take at any time. You actually don't have to be a member to take it. But she's going to share us basically how you can use that as kind of a blueprint to develop your own learning plan. For which I do believe you have to be a member, but that's what the topic is tomorrow. So if you aren't registered, again, all our events this week are free. So I'll put the link in the chat. Feel free to register for that and share with your network as well. And then on Wednesday, we will have Holly Batts dive into the professional development goals, such as if you wanted to pursue a certification or anything like that. So yeah, for our chapter this year, we just really wanted to focus on how you can expand and really utilize your benefits with ATD. So we appreciate everyone's time. And if you haven't registered for the social on Thursday, there's plenty of spots available as well. We would love to see you in person. Carol and I will be there, as well as a couple other folks I think that might be on this call. But Lauren, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for your attention. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much.